Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Hold on to your seats because we are going to fly high. Not as high as they flew in Peter Pan, but the Wick is a great, great theater. And if you haven't been there, you must go. But I'm very fortunate to have someone named after the Wick because it's Kimberly Wick and her mother, Marilyn Wick's theater. So Kimberly Wick is vice president of the Wick Museum, curator, and head designer. Oh, my gosh, you must be so exhausted.
Well, it's been an exciting season. And
2 years.
Yeah. And we did, for the first time, we were open this summer. So that was a little bit challenging. But the season 3 will be a big ball of laughs and music and tapping. And it's a really, I mean, you know, when you look back and you reflect on, you know, how did we come up with this season? You know, because we have to kind of bid and auction, you know, to get the shows we want. It's we really came up with a good season and we're really excited about it. We opened with A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, October 1st. It runs for a month and tickets are selling briskly. You can buy individual tickets, don't have to just buy the whole season. And it's going to be a great show. We have 12 equity performers from New York coming in to do the show. So it's a big show.
Yeah. Well, you know, I want to talk about that because, Kimberly, I don't know how you're pulling this all off. I mean, let's just forget even this coming season, the first season. When we walked in and we sat down,
The Sound of Music.
All of a sudden, the curtains opened and we saw what was never at that theater before and what you have created, you and your mother. I mean, the costumes are not to be believed.
Yeah.
The set designs. And then the most important thing, the talent. Where do you find these people?
Well, I will tell you, we are really blessed here in South Florida because we have so many former New York equity actors that now are living here and they're working a lot more than they were ever working in New York because the pool is a bigger pool there. We're a little pond down here of actors, and they are so talented. So we try to hire as many locals as we can. And, you know, fiscally, it does make some sense, too, because we don't have to house them and transport them, et cetera. But they're talented, and they're wonderful, and we really have, you know, a family of ensemble members that really support those equity leads, and we wouldn't want to do it any other way. And financially, we probably couldn't afford to do it any other way. But it's really feels great to know that we're supporting our community as well. And then, of course, we get these big gangbuster Broadway actors in for the most of the leads. And it just makes a really nice marriage on the stage. It's part of the magic of running a theater. And sometimes there are days when I really feel like I should be David Copperfield.
No, I'm sure that's true. But actually, when you think of it, this has not been your profession. You're in the costume world.
Costume
business. With your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you, I know you love theater, and I know you're very creative, but for you and your mother to all of a sudden, when she first said, you know, to do this whole theater, I thought, oh, my gosh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you have blown us away.
Well, I so many things come to my mind. We always talk about how you and I could do like 3-hour shows. But one of the things is that the patrons leaving the theater and myself, the very first time with The Sound of Music, and our first couple of shows only had 70 paid seats in them. And before we closed in that 1-month run, the last 2 weeks were sold out every single performance. So people were like leaving the theater and like calling their friends. I mean, they couldn't get out of the building fast enough to call their friends and tell them to get a ticket. So that energy has kind of sustained itself, which is, you know, really a wonderful thing. I mean, we're bound to, you know, flop sooner or later. But
not necessarily.
Not necessarily. I hope not. I mean, we're trying not to. We had no idea what we were doing, Anita. No idea. My mother and I have been backstage in these, you know, hundreds of theaters all over the country for 30 years. We don't want to admit to that long. And worked in so many of them, been a part of these production meetings. And my mother is just a I can gal. And she's lived her life that way. And she said, we can do it. And we both looked at each other. And, of course, I'm, you know, her shadow. we can do it, and we just did it. And if you don't know you can't, then you can. So we did.
Right. You are absolutely the most positive, but most creative. See, there's a lot to being positive, but what you have pulled off. I mean, every time I go, and you always run out. Did you like it? And I look at. Are you kidding? What do you mean? Did I like it? I sit there and. And the dancers that you get, the tap dancers and the singers. I mean, it is really it is an amazing thing. And, of course, you've redone the theater, and it's so beautiful. And my big thing is, I'm probably your biggest promoter. I meet people, I'll say, well, by the way, have you been to the Wick Theater? Where's that? Well, you go down Federal Highway and you get there. So you have created something you should be very proud of, and now you're getting into your third season. So before we run off too high and too far, let's talk about, besides the funny thing happened on the way to the forum, October 1st to November 1st, what else are we looking at?
Then we're doing Hello, Dolly. Now, that is the coup of coups. Jerry Herman, we had the very great pleasure of having him as a guest, pardon me, at the theater last year for MAME. And he asked my mother personally, would you please put Leroy Reams in the lead role of Dolly Levi? And my mother looked at him and wanted to say, oh, I don't know. And what do you say to Jerry Herman? You say yes. So we're doing it, and it's never been done in this country. So it's a real coup. I mean, it's been done in Europe for a while.
Explain to people that instead of a woman, we have a man.
Yeah, instead of a woman, we have a man, Leroy Reams, playing the role of Dolly Levi, which has never been done in this country. And for those fortunate many, actually, with 6 weeks of sold-out shows for last season's La Cage aux Folles, they will know who Leroy Reams is. I mean, he was Billy Lawler in the original 42nd Street. He has like 20 Broadway credits. He's amazing. He's as lovely off stage as he is on, and it just shows.
And his voice is so powerful.
Voice is great, and he, it's a big deal. Tickets, the tickets for Hello, Dolly are getting close to being sold out. So there's less than 1,000 seats left for the run of the show.
Now, will you extend? How do you know? How can you extend? Because
we can't. Our season is so tight because we try to fit so much in for our patrons that are seasonal residents, that we try to fit in a full season so they can buy a subscription. So, there might be a time and a place when that changes, but right now we're trying to hold true to that, which is what really got people excited about the theater in the beginning. If we run a show for 2.5 months, then, if you're here only for 4 months, you're only going to see 2 shows.
No, you're doing it the right way, but it makes people then just pant and want to do this.
And want more and more and more.
Sooner and sooner.
Yeah, that opens November 5th. And
it goes through
the, I think, 7th or 8th of December. And then we have 2 action-packed holiday shows. We're doing Ballroom with a Twist Muss.
I don't know anything about that. What is that?
Pardon me. Right there. Dancing with the Stars, with America's Got Talent, the singing shows on television with So You Can Dance. It's a big hodgepodge of all of these young performers, and we're kind of looking forward to that. There's 19 performances. We're selling so well that we actually added some on some of those nights when we normally would be closed. So that's really kind of cool.
Let me tell everyone again, you're listening to this sparkling woman, Kimberly Wick. She's vice president of the Wick Museum, curator and head designer of the Wick Theater. And you cannot miss going to the Wick Theater. We're so privileged that Marilyn Wick took this into her hands and said, yes, we're going to do this. They took the old theater, the Caldwell Theater, and they changed it. And there's so much about the Wick Theater. And, well, I want Kimberly to tell us more, but I just wanted to say that something that, as a theater person myself, usually you go to the theater and you love it, and then you walk out and you go to your car. Not here at the Wick Theater. First of all, if you go early, there's always entertainment. And then when you
stay late with that entertainment.
Well, I was going to say, even intermission-wise, there's entertainment. And this is good entertainment. These are singers, these music, pianists. And then at the end, you don't want to leave. And everyone sits around. So you have, we haven't even gotten to your restaurant, which there's so much to talk about. I don't know if we'll do it all in one time, but I do want to get everything done. So it's an experience. It's not just a theater. I call it the Wick experience.
Yeah, and a lot of people do.
Experience.
We're kind of trying to coin that a little bit. Everybody said, 330 seats, 330 people leave every night and say, this is not a show, it's an experience. And, that's what theater's supposed to be.
And if you go to Broadway, you will see that it's comparable to what you see on Broadway, but it's for less than half the price, even less than less.
Yeah.
1/3 of the price.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me now what we're going to see during the holiday you just told us about.
Yes, and it's, the costumes, there are 195 costumes in the show. It's a big, big deal. It is kind of a package show, but we're giving it the Marilyn Wick twist. Moss. And then we have, last year we had the Rat Pack for New Year's Eve. This year we have the Lennon Sisters. 5 performances. They were the Lennon Sisters. Yes, you're thinking of the right ones from the Lawrence Welk show. They were 14.
Wait, they're not around. No, this
is the real Lennon Sisters.
No way.
Yes, they were 14. You probably didn't know, but they were 14, 15, and 16 years old when they were on the Lawrence Welk show. They were not in their late 20s or what have you. They're in their early 70s. They have gorgeous voices.
Oh, my gosh.
They look magnificent. I mean, they're beautiful. Take a peek.
Oh, my gosh.
And,
well, why don't you do this for let's see, this will be December. I think for a December cover, if you give me that, I'll run it on the cover because that's so exciting.
Oh, no, it's so fun. And, they sell out Branson, Missouri, 1,500 seats at the Andy Williams Theater for a month straight, and we managed to get them for 5 shows.
I can't believe it.
So with our 300 seats.
And that's your holiday? That's your New Year's Eve?
That's our New Year's Eve, and then 3 hangover shows, as we call them, the hangover shows. But we have 2 performances on New Year's Eve. We have an early show, and it's complimentary champagne and so forth. And then we have our gala, which 8:30 dinner seating with a beautiful meal by our incredible chef, William Walden. A lovely, lovely meal. Not last year we had a few snags with the meal, but this year we've polished that all up and it'll be magnificent. And then the show, and we have dancing and a small band in the lobby, putting down the dance floor. We have a balloon drop, champagne. We have all the televisions going with the New York, the ball dropping in Times Square. It's a lot of fun. So,
what does something like that cost?
$225 a ticket, which I've done a little research around town. That is incredibly inexpensive.
It is because you're getting dinner. It's not just a show.
Yes. Yeah, the full dinner and the show
before,
and cocktails and, everything's
dancing.
included. Dancing, the whole bit. So it's a really, really fun night. Real fun night. And, a lot of, had quite a few tables already sold. The table 8 top, and they, it's just gals, all ladies enjoying themselves. And I said, I got to sell some guy tables so we can have some dancing going on.
That's right.
So it's going to be fun. And then when we finally close that down, then we start with we asked the audience last year. We ran a little survey for about 4 or 5 weeks. And in the playbill we had, or the Newswick is what we call it, we had the Newswick. We had a little survey question of what show folks wanted to see. And the most requested show by 3 times was South Pacific. So that's our January slot.
Yes, I think that's right. You were mentioning that South Pacific. Isn't that interesting? That's the wash the man out of my hair.
Mother and I being single. That's it opens January 7th and runs through the 14th of February. It's the longest running show of the season.
Is that a hard show to put on?
It's a big, big show. It's a big show.
Will you have water when she's washing your hair?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another smart thing the Caldwell did is put water on the stage. That's how we did it for Steel Magnolias, so we have to have it.
Excuse me. And so for all these, do you already have the people selected?
Yes.
No.
We're
select the people.
About 90% cast for the. Of course, funny thing happened on the way. The forum is totally cast.
Of course.
But the rest of the season is about 90% cast.
Really?
Yeah. Well, when we have Broadway stars going into these shows, we have to get them early. Then after South Pacific, my favorite show of season 3 is Curtains.
And I know, I heard that. I have no idea what that is.
Well, Curtains ran for almost 600 performances on Broadway. It was at the Marquee. It starred David Hyde Pierce, Donna Monk. It's a a murder mystery musical. It is hilarious. It's all about show people, and there's a big gangbuster song called Show People. At the beginning of the show, there's a actress, Jessica Crenshaw, and she is poisoned in the very first scene. And the whole storyline is about the detective coming in, David Hyde Pierce in that case. That's our one person that we're still casting right now. We're looking for a big name. But he comes in, he doesn't let anybody leave the theater, and this whole murder mystery ensues. And, of course, other people get killed as well. And the detective always dreamed of being an actor, so there's all that play on play. It is very, 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 very funny. And, Anita, you're going to love to know that I am playing Jessica Crenshaw.
So now you're going into the acting business.
Fill a few more moments of my day. But
you're not one of the ones killed.
I am. I get killed at the very first scene.
So you figure you can do that.
I figured I can do that. I can afford the time.
This is your beginning.
It's kind of fun.
Oh, this is fabulous. Oh, and that's really going to make it.
I know. I called Jan McCartan. I asked her if she would give me some acting lessons, and she goes, Kimberly, you don't need any acting lessons. I said, well.
Oh, my goodness, Kimberly. This is wonderful
somebody
news.
That cinched me into my corset. So it'll be fun. So, and then we close out season 3 with Irving Berlin's I Love a Piano.
Of course.
Which is such a wonderful show. And I know it's a small cast, but it will be beautifully done. And we've already, they're all our set designers working on the sets for all 5 big shows, kind of planning them out. Obviously the ones that are sooner are, finished and completed, but still working on developing a really pretty picture for the whole season. And then we have to start thinking about our summer season for season 3.
I don't know really. Putting a magazine together, I thought that, that's a pretty big deal. But no.
Is cool.
But what you have to go through to do this is really extraordinary. And of course, you make it sound like everything just goes just like, a cakewalk.
No.
And of course it doesn't. No. There's always something. This one leaves, that one comes. So your main actress, what happens if she falls down or she elopes or does something?
Yeah. I was the fly stand-in for Peter Pan. So before the shows, they would fly me to make sure they had all their timing down, because just so happens that the lead, Shannon Mills, and I weigh the exact same weight, which we're not going to say on live radio. But so sure enough, I had to fly
what
in
it's
the
like to fly in the
yeah, which was really a lot of fun, to be honest. It was scary at first, but then
I would say so.
It was pretty fun. That was a very nerve-wracking show to do. There was we had 15 people on the deck making all the magic happen.
Well, what we loved so much was the dog.
Oh,
no, that costume.
Nick Chimenti.
Oh, that dog
fabulous.
Was so wonderful.
He was adorable. He's he's been with us since we opened the doors. He's a stagehand, and he was the dog and the croc. Was he fabulous? He's a real trooper.
So now, that sounds crazy, but do you own that costume? Was that one of your costumes?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sure. So we did all the costumes. Yeah. What do you think? We rent them from somebody else?
No, but I thought you had to make them, or you had to do something. And so I'm really, I'm always amazed. Now, let's put the Wick Theater aside. You still run the costume.
Costume World is very much open and running, and my mother oversees them both every day. You think I'm a magician? You ought to see her, what she does every day. It's just,
but you must have a huge staff for the costume work, because you're not only here, you have one in Dallas,
Texas, Austin, Texas, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And of course, this year Halloween is on a Saturday, and in our industry, Saturday Halloween is a big moneymaker and very, very busy time for our company. We have to buy twice as much as we normally do. And already my friends, and I see it on Facebook and in social, networks and so on, people talking about, their Halloween party. They talk about a Halloween party when Halloween's on a Saturday. People generally, about a third of the folks have a Halloween party on a Thursday night.
Right, but this is Saturday.
So when it's on a Saturday, it's a big, big deal. So we are now preparing, and our set, the folks that design our sets and do the scenic design and so forth, they've been down to the Deerfield store making, magic down there, getting everything set up for the season. We always have the stores decorated seasonally for, some special theme. This year's theme is Ghouls Gone Wild.
Ghouls Gone Wild. Oh, and I haven't been in your store, and I'm going to have to go do
you
that.
have to go
I will
see it.
do that.
Just go see
It's
it.
something that I haven't done, and I want to. I want you to buy tickets. I want you to go, even if you don't buy a ticket, just to go there to see it. Then you're going to buy a ticket. Mm-hmm. It's 561-995-2333. Again, get your pencils out. This is Pencil Talk Radio, and it's 561-995-2333. It's easy to get to. It's 7901 North Federal Highway, which is just if you get on a Federal Highway, it's almost into Delray on Federal Highway. Mm-hmm. And it's easy. And, your valet people are very nice. I have to share that with you also.
And that is complimentary. Mm-hmm.
I know it is. And those people, I don't know where they park all the cars, but they really do a great job.
They do a great job. And that's what going to the theater is supposed to be. It's supposed to be special. It's supposed to start when they open your door. And hopefully, the guests that do enjoy having the complimentary valet, hopefully that makes it feel that much more special to them.
And maybe we should take the next few minutes and talk about your restaurant. With Chef William, I have to say, the food, the service now, that wasn't. Did you really plan on having such a first class restaurant?
It was having a restaurant was definitely a part of our business plan. Theater can't support itself just on ticket sales, and we thought with the museum and the tours that we offer every day, and then having a restaurant for, of course, our luncheons that are part of the tour, but also for dinner, that and our gift shop, which with those kids shows, gift shop did great.
Did it?
Oh, very well. That the building and the business, in order to keep the theater alive and do the quality that we want to do, which is the real deal quality. These are $250,000, $300,000 productions. These are not, thrown together for, $40,000. In order to do that, we needed to have a business plan that included all these different ideas. We thought that we would have a nice, maybe offer a buffet, something like that, etc. And when we started sitting down and our patrons started telling us what they really wanted, and we're really good at listening, to be honest, we're really good at listening. Some of these things I say, I would have never thought of that, but they were right on the money. That's what our patrons wanted. They wanted a beautiful meal and a nice experience in that gorgeous room. Tavern at the Wick is inspired by Tavern on the Green. And the
chandelier
is magnificent. And you really do, it's a really special time, and you almost feel like you're at Tavern on the Green. The food's better. And then you go in and see the show. It really just kind of made sense that would be the direction that it would evolve to. So,
but the restaurant,
the food is amazing.
It is, and Chef William is such a perfectionist. He wants everything, and it is just beautiful. And I have to share that with people, so you don't have to go somewhere else. Say, hurry up and get finished because I have to go over to the Kia Theater, right? Mm-hmm. It's all part of it, and so this is a perfect place for parties, anniversaries,
birthday parties, and I will tell you, we kind of planned on being closed in September a little bit, trying to take a little bit more time for the museum and so on off. I will tell you, we've not been able to do that because birthday parties, so many lovely birthday parties this summer and, smaller tours. And I remind your listeners that the museum is open. We do have tours. Now is the time to see it without 60 folks on the tour with you. Our tours are smaller in the summer, usually 30 to 40 guests. And it's fun to share the museum with that sort of energy, all these folks that really love Broadway. So it's a great time to see the museum before all the snowbirds return. And by the way, have you noticed all the car haulers up and down Federal Highway?
Yes.
They're starting to come back.
Oh, yeah. No, they are. Yeah. And but it's really been very hot up north, too.
Yes.
So it's not a big thing for them. I'm glad we didn't have the hurricane. I hate to even think what that would have done for you, but that's okay. I'm sure you're very, very good. And we don't want to, I think, leave without saying that Countess de Hornley is, she really put her money into this and she didn't do that casually because she was a little disappointed that the Caldwell didn't go.
Sure.
And she came back, and I was there that opening night, and she was saying, well, let's see what these folks are going to do kind of thing. And she was blown away.
Yeah,
now I know that she's not well enough to come to the theater the way she'd like to, but I know for the few shows she came, and
She loved it.
She did. Well, it's because you see, you're also not the big time movie producers, Broadway show people. You've come in with such a heart, and you're trying so hard. And
we're doers. I'm here with flip flops. I'm covered with paint. Was painting this morning. Well, the Countess was very generous. It was unsolicited, unexpected, and really, my mother shared with me, and I've shared it with you actually privately, Anita, that she's never had anybody have so much faith in her. She handed my mother a check for $250,000 after having seen 2 of our shows, and we've named the lobby after her. We call it the Countess Lobby.
And that was appropriate.
Yeah, and we're just really, she's a lovely, gracious woman, and not only because she gave us some money, which we are grateful for. She's just a generous woman.
But she's a hard taskmaster. I have to say that that she wouldn't have written that check if she didn't truly believe that you are on your way to really be there and do something great for Boca Raton.
Well, I agree with you full-heartedly. And she's done so much for Boca Raton. I'm constantly sharing with our guests at the theater, because now her name is in the lobby, who she is and how she's supported both the medical arts and the performing arts here in our town. And her husband, and we're really blessed to have such a philanthropist. We
actually put on the Cure Symposium at the Palm Beach State College, and we're putting it on in the room that's called the Countess de Hornley Lecture Hall.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
So, that's just one of those the other coincidences, which I think is very good. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess what I really hope will happen, though, for people listening, they could use some major sponsorships. This is extremely important to theaters, and imagine now, it's all new. So if you go in, you could really play a major role. So please think about that. Give a call to Kimberly or to her mother, Marilyn. Say, gee, I want to support this theater in a bigger way than just tickets. Call 561-995-2333. We did it again, Kimberly.
Yeah, we did.
I want to thank you so much for being here.
Grateful for your support and honored to be one of your friends. And
it's my pleasure.
Just delighted. Thank you for having me.
And I can't wait to come to the theater again.
Good.